What is good, y'all? It's your boy Real Talk Humble Success, and we are back with another video. Today I decided to just chill, sit on the couch, relax. But hold on, let me change right here. Okay, let me sit back. So I want you guys to use this video as something you come back to in 5 years. Something you come back to in 5 years. So what I want you guys to do is write down your goals. It could be long-term goals. It could be short-term goals. It could be something you want to achieve next month. It could be anything. But for the people who have long-term goals, and I believe everybody does, but for the guys who have long-term goals, I want you to write it down in the comments. Write it down in the comments. Tell yourself in the comments, I am going to achieve this. And I don't want you guys to put a time frame for when you're going to achieve something, but I want you guys to put in the comments, this is my goal and I am going to achieve this specific thing, right? When you write that down, I want you guys to then come back in 5 years. I want you guys to come back in 5 years and see where you are, And another thing you can write alongside with, this is what I want to achieve. This is my goal and I will achieve it. Freaking birds. Another thing you can write down is, I hope to learn a lot with the process I'm going to be in. With the process you're going to be following through it. I'm going to learn a lot. So when you come back in 5 years to check out this specific video, I want you guys to really reflect on the journey. Whether you've obtained whatever you're looking for in 5 years and whether or not, I want you guys to really look at it and be like, what did I learn during this 5-year process? This is why it's such a long-term journey. This whole thing is such a long-term journey because it really does take time. It's not something that you obtain right immediately. That's why I said 5 years. For those of you guys who have short-term goals, something you can actually obtain in the span of 6 months to a year, I want you guys to come back in that specific time, and write what you learned. Reply to your comment and write back to what you learned. If you can find your comment, that's if this video hasn't blown up. That's if this video has blown up or whatever, blah, blah, and you're able to actually obtain your comment. But what I'm trying to do here is, you guys are leaving yourself accountable. You're holding yourself accountable by writing it somewhere. Not every time you're working towards that goal, you're going to be like, damn, I left that comment in a humble success video. Damn, I should really get back to work. If you're losing the discipline, you know what I mean? It's kind of something to check yourself and be like, okay, what am I doing right now? I should get back to work. I should try and figure this thing out, and that's the thing. It's a journey. You're going to lose track sometime, but it's up to you to put yourself back in the position to be on track, So the reason I'm making this specific video right now is to motivate people. Why is my cat tweaking, bro? Hey, buddy, stop. But the reason I'm making this video is to really motivate people towards pursuing something maybe they've been procrastinating on for the last couple years, last couple months, last couple weeks. Or maybe it's just a new idea they're not sure to actually pursue. So in alignment for what you want to do, and this video, I'm going to be talking about how something is not for you. How something is not for you. So how do you come to the conclusion that whatever you're pursuing is not for you? And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of things that people say, talk about these kinds of things, and an indication that something is not for you is you get super anxious for the idea of pursuing that specific goal. You get super anxious. And I'm not talking about the anxiety you get that I have to get there. Like, that's just ambition coursing through your blood. That's a completely different situation. I'm talking about whenever you think of this specific goal, you become super stressed. You don't know how to actually visualize it in your head without being calm. And that's one thing. I used to play soccer when I was younger. I had this long goal. I had this long dream of becoming the next Ronaldinho. I really wanted to become a great soccer player. But like, what I realized is the idea that whenever I thought about being a soccer player, and I was decently good, like I wasn't bad. Like, the thing is, like, if I continued training, continued pursuing my dreams, continued pursuing that goal, I think I would have gone pretty far. But the idea of me becoming a soccer player made me extremely anxious. I was super stressed each and every single time when I thought about that decision. And that's how I came to the conclusion that it wasn't for me. Because something that's naturally for you would come a lot easier mentally when you try to perceive it in your thoughts. You'd be like, okay, I want to become this YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. And it would become more natural. It would fall into line with your lifestyle. Sometimes you may need to let go of things, but your decisions you make would be a lot easier for you to flow towards the thing you're actually trying to pursue. So, yeah, back to what I was trying to say. With that mindset, I was stressing all the time about becoming this soccer player and stuff. And that made me really realize, I was like, if it's this stressful already, maybe this thing is not for me. And it's not because I was looking at other people tell me this, other people make decisions for me. I was just simply realizing how I truly felt. It wasn't fun no more because I was super anxious about the idea about being a soccer player. I wanted to be the best so people can perceive me as the best, which was wrong. If you're ever doing something, you're ever pursuing something, it should be something that you're doing because you actually have passion for it. Not because you're trying to look a certain way, not because you're trying to have people glorify you in a certain way, not because you're trying to have external satisfaction. So whenever you have a goal, a passion, something you're chasing, it should always be for internal satisfaction for your own self. You should actually have ambition towards that passion for that thing. So yeah, that thing really made me think. I was like, yeah, I really gotta find something I could do. And here's the thing about being able to realize something is giving you stress and you should take it out of your life is now you have to keep an open mind to try something new. And here's where a lot of people fall into a problem. They fall into this problem where they had something they've been doing for a long time, and then they took the time to actually look internally and be like, yeah, this thing is not for me anymore. But they keep going at it because that's the only thing they know. And that's the mistake a lot of us have made and a lot of people are still making. We keep going at something because that's the only thing we know. Because how people perceive us is how we want it to be for the rest of our life. A lot of people, maybe in high school, they were this soccer player, they were this basketball player, and they just can't let go of the fact that basketball is not for them anymore. Maybe where they actually specialize in is art. They draw, they do a lot of sick art, and they have that skill and talent in that specific field. But what I'm trying to say here is never be that guy or woman who holds on to a specific thing just because that's all you've been doing for the longest time. You have to keep an open mind in order for you to grow and reach heights you never thought you would be in. You have to keep that open mind. You have to be able to look at it and be like, okay, I'm gonna change my steps. I'm gonna pivot a little bit and move to this next level. Because in order for you to grow, you need to keep an open mind. You need to be able to change. You need to be able to adapt into the lifestyle you're in. The reason you're so obsessed with this thing you used to do is because maybe you got it from high school, maybe you got it from college. And I'll tell you this right now, high school, college, all school years, it's such a small world. And now that we're out in the real world, you start to realize that the world is a lot bigger. Like, there's a lot of random things you can come across in today's day and age, that you can learn, a skill you can learn that you could actually have passion for and create a brand for. So what I'm trying to say here is keep an open mind. Never be that person who holds on to something because that's all you know. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. And I'm not telling you don't believe in yourself, don't go all out in your dreams. But what I'm trying to say is, once you've come to the conclusion that maybe this is not for me, maybe this is not for me, don't hold on to something just because that's all you've been doing for the last decade. It's okay to change up. It's okay to renew yourself. Keep an open mind, renew yourself. Yes, people are going to question, oh, aren't you that same player? Didn't you used to play badminton? What happened? Why'd you stop? Be like, oh yeah, it's not for me. You're not living life to impress other people. I've said this countless of times. You can never satisfy the whole world. The only thing you can satisfy is yourself. So aim towards that. And yeah, so I'm going to be moving on to the next thing. So that's how that thing kind of fell in line. But the next thing is being in a state of relaxation. And no, I don't mean being in a state of, oh, I'm just gonna chill, float, watch TV, game up, scroll through Instagram all day, relax. No, you get what I'm saying. I mean being in a state of relaxation, of calmness. You're calm, you know what you're pursuing, you know what you want, and you know you're gonna get there. It kind of falls back to what I said, if you're super anxious and you're stressed about something you want to achieve, then maybe that thing is not for you, because that's how I believe it is. But if you're able to move with calmness, you write down your goal underneath the comments, you write down your goal in a book, a journal, you keep track on, and then you tell yourself like, okay, this is what I want to achieve. Me personally, I'm gonna tell y'all my goals right now. My goal is to become a popping superstar. What do I mean by that? A popping YouTuber that motivates men, teaches men, and I also do music on the side. I really hope my music can move up alongside with my personal brand of helping men to become better. That's my goal, to create a personal brand that motivates men each and every single day. I want to create a community of like-minded individuals, people who want to succeed past the limited expectations of life. That's the kind of personal brand I'm trying to attain in the future. And that's my goal. Whenever I think of that, I'm in a calm state of mind, because I realize that all I gotta do is take each and every single day steps towards what I want to obtain, and that's what I'm trying to say. You guys need to be in a calm state of mind. Calm state of mind will always push you further, because why? You make better decisions when you're relaxed. You make better decisions when you're relaxed. You never want life to be stressful, this working 7 jobs, trying to figure it all out. You're stressing about your passion. Focus on your passion, relax. Everything will fall into place if you put in the work and the steps each and every single day. Why is this guy beeping? But what I'm trying to say is, being in a calm state of mind is when life will start favoring you, man. Life will definitely start favoring you. If you put yourself in a calm state of mind, you throw away negativity, you're not feeding into garbage. Here's the thing I told myself recently. I would never waste my time to argue ever again. Why? Because when you're arguing, what are you actually trying to achieve? You're just trying to mentally destroy the other person. You're trying to be right. And one thing I'm starting to learn in life is, it doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. All that matters is you focus on the right thing. Because at the end of the day, what is me asking this blah 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 and arguing back and forth with this person gonna do for me? You know, a lot of you guys go on Instagram, you feed into that negativity each and every single day. Maybe you're arguing underneath a comment over something so minimal. You know, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, that's destroying your whole flow, your whole energy state. And I'm a Christian. I believe in, I know this is gonna sound super crazy, but I believe in manifestation in the sense of whatever you put your mind towards, you work towards, is gonna actually come your way. That's what I believe in. You know, because it even says in the Bible, whatever you ask for, you shall receive. And obviously, whatever you ask from God, you will receive. But in the sense that whatever you believe and work towards too. Because God said faith with no action is minimal. Like if you're saying, oh, I believe God's going to give me this, but you're not putting in the work, you're not getting anything out of it. You wake up tomorrow, you're scrolling on your phone, you don't get to work, nothing's going to get done, bro. And what I'm trying to tell you is putting your mind towards your goals, your craft, and everything you want to obtain is going to push you a lot further than wasting your time spreading negativity, arguing on Instagram, arguing in person. Never waste your time like that, dog. Never do that shit. You know? And yeah, this video is going to come across like a lot, but I really want you guys to absorb this information. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, if you want anything in the world, this is the video. You know, remember, leave your goals down in the description. I'll be liking all of them, replying to all of them, so you're not going to feel ignored. And at the end of the day, in 5 years for the long-term people, come back. In 6 months to a year for the people who have short-term goals, come back in that time and yeah, review on yourself. I want you guys to use this video as a reflector. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I appreciate you guys. Stay blessed. Catch y'all later. Easy.